Thank you so much, Ryan. So today, Steve, Debbie, Melanie, and myself will be facilitating today's session. So Ryan, if you could turn on the annotation tool. And like we did on Wednesday's session, if you could either type on the screen or use the chat box and let me know your takeaways from Wednesday's session. And also if you have any unresolved questions. Okay, all good. Oh, I see pull record. That's right. We went over all the 4 types of records on Wednesday. Oh, couldn't make it. Yeah. Didn't know about the 11710A being available for download. Great. Very glad that you learned that. All static information and data files. Yeah, that's good. If you do want to type, you'll have to click on the T and then click somewhere on the little whiteboard, and then you should be able to type. How to use the pull and loan list. That's a good one. Save and summarize. I know, I think we said save and summarize quite a few times. Lacey put, make sure you save and summarize. Absolutely. That's great. Thank you, Lacey. Looks like Ryan just posted the link over in chat. POSV, right, the pull, loan, sensitive, and various for the record types. That's good. Okay, Ryan, if we could export this slide. Thank you. During Wednesday's session, we reviewed the four file layouts, which are pull, loan, sensitive, and various. Discussed how to edit and correct records, went over the calculations performed by RFS, and noted which fields issuers are required to report. Exception feedback and navigation to different access points. How to retrieve and download files, which the preferred method is download. Review file submissions and review if the file was accepted or rejected. In today's final session, we will focus on these 2 bolded modules. We will get started with additional reporting requirements. In this module, we will review the monthly and quarterly reporting requirements and explain the timeline for additional reporting requirements. The monthly reporting certification opens on the 10th business day, with the deadline being 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 14th business day. Loan matching and suspense should be worked monthly. 11-7-14 remittance advice for Ginnie Mae 1 certificates should be reported no later than 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 8th business day. Only a limited number of issuers actually report the Ginnie Mae 1 11-7-14 information. CAVs, SCRA, and WIFIT are reported quarterly. New pull data quality should be addressed monthly if you have any. Using the annotation tool, Ryan, if you could turn that on, please. Would you please place a sticker on the reporting requirements that you are familiar with? Wonderful. I think you guys like using the stickers, and I really do appreciate all of the participation. That is awesome. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so glad so many folks are familiar with these. Okay. So the monthly reporting certification opens on the 10th business day with the deadline being 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 14th business day. To navigate to this screen in MGM, you would click on Tools, PAEF for exception feedback, then click on the Summary tab. The monthly certification link can be found in the lower right-hand corner, being highlighted with the red box on this slide. Please raise your hand if this looks familiar. Oh, wonderful. Look at all those hands. That is fantastic. Thank you so much. And Ryan, if you could clear the hands. So if my name on the 11702 form is Christy N. Christensen, and my name on the token form is Christy Christensen, I would not be able to certify as my names do not match on both forms. In order to complete the monthly certification as an issuer, you must be a signer on the active HUD 11702 form in MAMS. Also, the name on the HUD 11702 and the RSA Secure ID token form must match exactly. Like in my example before, my name did not match because one had my middle initial. For a subservicer, the user must be a signer on the internal issuer's HUD 11702 form and must have an active HUD 11707 form in MAMS. A quick story. A few months ago, we had an issuer miss the 14th business day monthly certification deadline because only one person had access to complete the certification, and they were out unexpectedly. Therefore, a best practice would be to have multiple backups with RSA tokens for the monthly reporting certification process. I will now turn it over to Steve.
Thanks, Christy. Good morning, everyone. Now we're going to touch on one of the items that Christy mentioned earlier, and that is the loan matching and suspense. This is a module within RFS, and what we covered on Wednesday, we touched a little bit on various matching and suspense. So this is loan matching and suspense, and it's important to understand the difference between the two. The various loan matching suspense is related to items on the various record, and loan matching and suspense is related to items on the loan record. Okay. Now the Ginnie Mae loan matching, it's an automated process that runs monthly. It matches your issuer reported loan data to agency data. And what we consider the agency data is master data. And so when you submit your loan data, we match it against the agency data for consistency or mismatches. The examples shown here are the systems FHA SFIS 843, the CHUMS system, the VA guarantee data, and the RD endorsement data. Currently, we do not match against NAPIH data. All right. Under loan matching suspense, it's important to know what data we're talking about. The primary match fields are the case number found on the L record field 4, which is all 15 digits, the original principal balance, or OPB, as per the mortgage note. This is on the L record field 10, and we also match interest rate, maturity date, and zip code for FHA Streamline. Issuers must resolve non-matches. if you could, in the chat box, type how you would resolve non-matches. So this is for folks that have done matching thus far. Let's see if anyone has any information on resolving non-matches. Okay. I see a few people are typing. Review the 11706 original note and what records are being sent to Ginnie Mae and see where the mismatch is. Thank you, Ruth. Very good. Okay, Deb, thank you for that. Haven't had any. Okay. Great. All right. Now, in terms of accessing matching and suspense, once you log into MGM, under Tools, you can see the Matching and Suspense application or module over on the left, MAS. Another question for you: if you use a subservicer, do they work the matching and suspense items, or do you as the issuer? You can type in the group chat for anyone that uses a subservicer. Ultimately, the issuer is responsible for their own data, but it'd be interesting to see if your subservicer does, or if you do that work the matching and suspense items. Any takers here on group chat? Looks like we're getting a few. As a subservicer, we correct these. Okay, thank you, Nicole. All right, let's move on to the download. These are the non-matching loan downloads. Under the matching and suspense module, the fifth item at the top there is downloads, and you can see there are 6 downloadable types of matching and suspense files: insurance, terminated, suspense, age matching, age terminated matching, and various. So this is where you'll find all of your downloads. And the other thing to point out here is the user guide. This will you will be able to download the entire user guide for the matching and suspense module, and it has a lot of good information. Matching and suspense is extensive, and there are specific rules to follow. So pull down that user guide and refer to that often. Okay, now the insurance matching download file. The insurance verification non-match results for FHA. The downloads are available every month after the 5th business day, and we have multiple updates throughout the month, after the 10th business day and after the 25th calendar day. So this download is dynamic. At different times of the month, you will get different insurance match verifications. So it's important to go and download that at the various times after those downloads or after those processes have occurred. Also, if you receive MAT exceptions and exception feedback, those are static for the month, and we'll see later that those relate to different items in loan matching and suspense. For non-modified FHA loans, the 5 data fields are used for loan matching, and if your data does not match the FHA reported data, it appears on this download. Now the box at the bottom, the matching and suspense team has seen that there are a few special situations that need to be pointed out. You can see each of those listed there in 1 through 4 and the next steps to take for each one of those. All right, now when you're talking about the matching, insurance matching download file, it's good to understand what you're looking at here. At the top, it's important to know those match codes. The MA matched on case and OPB, the MC match on case only, and the NC not matched on case number. And you can see in each of those boxes there's guidance that goes along with it in the blue, the green, and the purple. At the bottom there's an example of the matching download file. Notice that each row is its own loan with its own unique loan ID, pool, case number, etc. Notice the match codes there boxed in red. The 3 there are MAs. And finally, at the end, there are pairs of columns with each pair containing the agency value on the left and the issuer reported value on the right. This allows you to have the information you need to work through resolving each of the items. So you see agency maturity and then loan maturity, agency interest rate, loan interest rate, agency zip, loan zip. Okay, now we talked a little bit about the MAT codes earlier. These are how these are related to match codes in matching and suspense. The NC relates to MAT 001. The MC is related to MAT 002, matching on case number only. The MANIs are for FHA Streamline only. The interest rate verification is for MAT 003, maturity date MAT 005, and zip code MAT 004. So these are important to know. Remember, the MAT codes are static and the match codes are dynamic based on the activity within matching and suspense. All right, there are also manually hard-coded MC status loans. These include hard-coding loans with a principal reduction, hard-coding modified loans with principal reduction, the VA vet, non-vet, and Texas Land Board loans, the RD loans for multiple borrowers on a loan, and RD loans when the primary borrower is deceased. So these are special situations for manually hard coding. Note that for the documentation related to this, we cannot receive any email or secure mail regarding this. There is now a function within MGM to allow the issuers to upload their documentation to RFS. All right. Now, when it comes to the matching and suspense, there are e-notifications related to certain processes within matching and suspense. This is an example of a RFS suspended download e-notification. And I'd like to see, raise your hand if you have seen this type of notification in eNote, in your e-notification. All right, a few. That could mean that you don't have a lot of matching and suspense items, or you're not checking your e-notification. But thank you for your hand raises. All right, and what would you do if somebody could type in the chat? What would you do upon receiving this notification? All right, I have a few people typing. So checking your e-notification once or twice a day is a good practice. Download the file and start working to match and clear. Thank you, Danielle. That was perfect. That's exactly right. And okay, very good. Now this is an example of a terminated loan matching e-notification. You can see that some of the e-notifications also have a file attached to it. The file there is underlined with a PDF at the end. You right-click that and you can download that notification, that file attached to the e-notification. Okay, this table is a matching and suspense timeline. It shows the workflow items, the schedule for each, and if an e-notification is available. Note that not every matching and suspense function has an e-notification associated with it, but more than half do here. And what I would recommend is you keep this chart to help you with your matching and suspense processing. All right, if you are saying to yourself, this matching and suspense information is great, Steve, but I want more, you can watch an entire loan matching and suspense webinar from 2021 on YouTube. If you can look for Ginnie Mae Loan Matching Webinar, search that, and it's very helpful. All right, that's it from matching and suspense. I will turn the presentation back over to Christy.
Thank you, Steve. And actually, within this PowerPoint, that is the link to the actual webinar for that loan matching webinar. So once you download that, you could just click on that and it would take you right there. And Crystal, I do see that you had also answered Steve's question and where you download the file and see if anything needs to be cleared. So yes, that is perfect. Okay, so thank you, Steve, for all of that great matching and suspense information. So to navigate to this screen in MGM, you would click on Tools, click PASF for Pool Accounting Single Family, then click on the Remittance Advice tab. To report the 11714 certificate, you would select the issuer ID, enter the pool number, enter the certificate number, and enter the current reporting period and click Go. Please raise your hand if you submit 11714 Remittance Advice information. Okay, good. We've got a few hands there. That's great. Once you click Go, the Remittance Advice screen will display. You would fill out the screen and click the Save button at the bottom of the screen. And if we could clear the hands, please. Once all of your 11-7-14 information is reported, please click on the monthly remittance download in the dark blue bar to export all of the information that you've reported. I would save this file for audit purposes. The next couple of slides pertain to SCRA, which is the Service Member Civil Relief Act. SCRA is a federal law which provides legal and financial protection to those who have answered the nation's call to serve. There are specific requirements the military personnel need to meet to be eligible for the interest rate reduction. Ginnie Mae has authorized reimbursements for specific guidelines. To navigate to the SCRA module, you would click Tools and then click SCRA under Applications. Issuers must use this module to request eligibility and reimbursement. If you need to process SCRA, you must have an approved FCRA functional role, which is LL3. Chapter 34, Special Assistance Programs, has additional information on SCRA along with required forms you must submit for eligibility and reimbursement. Quarterly Custodial Account Verification Reporting in RFS is also known as CAVS. Per MBS Guide Chapter 16-8, issuers are required to submit CAVS between the 6th and 15th business days of March, June, September, and December. CAVS can be submitted in RFS by manual entry or a file upload. A certification must be submitted for each HUD 11709 P&I account. Would you please raise your hand if you have a reminder set up for this quarterly CAVS reporting? That is wonderful. Yes, I used to have a quarterly reminder set up on my Outlook calendar. Thank you for your participation. If we could clear the hands, please. So to navigate CAVS in MGM, you would click Tools, then click on PASF to go to the Pool Accounting Single Family, and click on the Quarterly Verification tab, which is highlighted in the red box. Inside this screen, you will select your issuer ID, the current reporting quarter, and click Go. A list of your accounts will appear. Click on the Bank ABA number hyperlink to open the Edit Custodial Account Verification screen. Some of the information will be pre-populated. You would update and/or add any of the required information, including the agency ratings, and click the Save button at the bottom of the screen. You would repeat this for all of your P&I accounts. I will now turn it over to Debbie.
Thank you, Christy. And with it, which we'll talk about now, is an IRS requirement, not a Ginnie Mae requirement. In 2006, the IRS published temporary and final reporting rules for widely held fixed investment trust. Ginnie Mae provides issuers a method to report required WIFID data to the IRS. The standard file layout to report WIFID data can be found in Appendix 6-18. The link is at the bottom of the slide. Data is due quarterly as shown on the slide. Issuers have 5 days to make corrections after the 10th calendar day. Issuers have the opportunity at year end to correct 13 months of data, December to December. Ginnie Mae will publish the data on Ginnie Mae's website under the Tax and Factor tab. Ginnie Mae is prohibited from advising the public on specific tax matters. Issuers should consult their own tax advisors regarding the specific tax treatment and tax accounting of any mortgage-backed security. To access WIFIT module in MGM, click Tools and select WIFIT. You may manually report data under the Issuer tab or use File Upload and select the WIFIT files from the drop-down list. WIFIT module also provides several feedback reports to the data submitted: summary, exception, summary and detail compliance, and a late submission report. Once you've reported data through RFS, you must continue to report using RFS. An important task for issuers to perform annually is to upload your company's annual financial documents. This is in accordance with MBS Guide Chapter 3. These must be uploaded into MGM Tools and File Upload using the Independent Public Accountant or IPA files from the drop-down list. These documents are due within 90 days of the issuer's fiscal year end. Appendix 6-20 provides step-by-step instructions. All documents must be in PDF format with specific naming convention. Submission dates of annual documents depends on your fiscal year end. Do you all know the date of your company's fiscal year end? If so, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't know, that would definitely be a takeaway to ensure this deadline is met. And I'm seeing some thumbs up. That's great. All right, we can please clear the thumbs. This is the file upload screen. Using the annotation tool, please put a sticker on the option you would select to upload the annual documents. There we go. There's only so much room around there. All right, very good. Thank you. Now we will review loan reporting scenarios, which are loan substitutions, reporting modified loans, and review new pool data quality requests. A loan may be eligible for substitution should it have a qualified defect, such as loan not being insured. The Ginnie Mae buyout group must approve the buyout and substitution prior to loan removal. Should you determine a loan is defective, submit formal letter per Appendix 6-02, form letter for loan repurchase. Loans are only eligible for substitution within the first 4 months or 120 calendar days of issue date of the security. By clicking the link at the bottom of the page, you can check out the substitution webinar. For a modified loan, issuers report the modified terms on the Form HUD 11706 at origination. Those terms roll to RFS the first reporting month. Issuers should continue to report the first payment date, maturity date, and interest rate using the modified terms. Issuers must change the modified OPB to the original note OPB. This is required for loan matching. The agency provides the original OPB. Issuers will receive an e-notification request to verify data reported on MGM SFPDM at origination that it's correct. A good example is issuer reported no in the first home buyer field for all 300 new loans. The agency data stated all 300 loans were first-time home buyer. Very important to correct information. And I will now turn it back over to Christy.
Thank you, Debbie. So this slide shows a list of best practices for issuers. Again, 100% of the pool and loan data must be reported by close of business on the second business day. All E and C level exceptions related to the pool and loans must be cleared no later than 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the fourth business day. There should be consistency of data reported in RFS. The case number reported on the loan should match the origination reported case number. The issuers are fully responsible for meeting the reporting timelines and accuracy of the data reported by their subservicers. Adhering to the company's established cutoff date. Ensure the correct liquidation removal code is reported in RFS. Analyze the correct RFS exceptions per severity level requirements and deadlines. Review e-notifications daily. And as mentioned earlier, have multiple backups for RSA tokens for the monthly reporting certification. Please turn on the annotation tool. And if you could, place a sticker on the practices that you think is most important. Okay. Wonderful. Yes, you guys are absolutely right. They are all very important. Thank you so much for your participation. And we will move on to our first set of polling questions for today. Okay. So which screen do you use to complete the monthly report certification? So if we could have all of our participants vote, that would be excellent. Okay, and we will give it a few more seconds. Okay, if we could end the poll, please. Okay, It does look like we had 80% get it correct, so it is the RFS monthly summary screen that is used to complete the monthly report certification. If we could have our next question, please. So when are the annual financial documents due? Debbie talked about this earlier. Ask people when they knew when their fiscal year end was. Okay, we'll give it a few more seconds. And if we could end the poll, please. So actually, the correct answer is 90 days after fiscal year end. However, they are due yearly, but they must be uploaded to Ginnie Mae to MGM within 90 days after your company's fiscal year end. So if we could have the next question, please. So we have a matching and suspense question that Steve went over earlier. So when does the issuer receive notice on terminated loans from e-notification? And we'll give it a few more seconds. And if we could end the poll. So the correct answer is the third one, the 10th business day. And if we could clear the question, please. Okay, we will now take a 5-minute break. When we reconvene to continue training, Debbie will be presenting. And if we could start the 5-minute timer, and we will return about 10:55 Eastern Time. Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome back from break. We will continue on here. And we'll continue with cash and reconciliations. Reconciliations of cash in the P&I and T&I accounts consist of your bank account statements, your internal servicing records, and the information you reported to Ginnie Mae for your monthly activity, which totals are on the summary screen in RFS. Keys to quality Ginnie Mae monthly reporting are following MBS Guide Chapter 16 for custodial accounts. Have Ginnie Mae program knowledge, reconciliations, test, and internal servicing controls. Cash management includes Ginnie Mae's access to draft funds from your account, Following Chapter 16 custodial account requirements, funding P&I shortfalls, completing monthly test of expected P&I recons, reconciling mortgage collateral to securities outstanding, which is also known as pull to security recon, and completing monthly bank account recons. Miscellaneous items would include, but are not limited to, payment clearing and disbursement clearing internal recons. If you would, please give me a thumbs up if you perform the bank account recon. Right. There's some out there. All right, thank you. I think we can clear the thumbs now. And I will turn it back over to Christy.
Thanks, Debbie. Please ensure that there are not any restrictions that would impact Ginnie Mae's ability to draft the funds from your central P&I accounts on draft days, including that there are not ACH debit blocks. An issuer should have procedures in place for communicating with Ginnie Mae and the Bank of New York Mellon, its CPTA, if any problems arise. This includes guarantee fee drafts. Another best practice is 1 business day prior to the draft, ensure the account is fully funded and there are no issues. Confirm funds have been drafted from the account on the day of the scheduled draft. If funds were not drafted, directly contact your bank. Also provide your Ginnie Mae account executive a plan to remedy the draft failure. Using the thumbs up, let me know if your company has a process to ensure that your ACH bank accounts are fully funded on the day of the draft. Okay, I'm seeing some thumbs. That is great. If your company does not have a process for this, please make sure that one is created. Please clear the thumbs. Your collections clearing account or payment clearing is an optional account. This account can be used for Ginnie Mae and non-Ginnie Mae funds. This account needs to transfer to the Ginnie Mae P&I and TNI accounts within 1 business day. You may recover corporate advances provided excess funds are restored to the custodial account from this account. Also, this should be a zero balance account, which means you should be able to show the detail of every cent that is outstanding in this bank account each day. For liquidations, the clock starts from the post date or the date of the deposit on the bank statement. Since issuers do not post payments received after hours until the next day, they have 1 business day from this date of the post or the deposit. Ultimately, the funds must be deposited into the Ginnie Mae P&I account within 2 business days of receiving the funds. Here are the P&I custodial account requirements. This account can be Ginnie Mae funds only. It must be a single, non-interest-bearing custodial account. It may contain funds for more than 1 pool. A HUD 11709 form must exist for each account, which is part of the master agreements. It must be maintained at an ACH-capable financial institution. The bank account recons must be completed timely, which is within 30 days of the Ginnie Mae cutoff date. And it must meet the CAV's banking requirements. Please raise your hand if you manage these bank accounts. Wonderful. Seeing some hands and some thumbs. That's great. Wonderful. That is great to see. If we could clear the hands and the thumbs, please. If you have a P&I disbursement account, here are the requirements. You may use a separate disbursement account. It must be non-interest bearing and a zero balance account. It must be maintained at an ACH-capable financial institution. It must only contain Ginnie Mae funds, so no commingling is allowed. It can be for one Ginnie Mae issuer ID per account. A master agreement, HUD 11709, must exist for this account. P&I accounts are subject to custodial account verification, also known as CAVS. It is required when a total FIC or P&I payments are equal to or greater than $100,000 in any month per Appendix 619. Also, single-family issuers are not required to report escrow accounts in CAVS reporting. Per the agency requirements, institutions are required to meet at least one of the following. Institutions serving as custodian with assets of $30 billion or more must have a short-term rating by S&P of A3 or better, a long-term S&P of BBB or better. Short-term deposit ratings by Moody's of P3 or better, or long-term deposit rating by Moody's of Baa3 or better. $30 billion or less asset institutions must have an IDC rating of 125 or better, or a Kroll rating of C+ or better. And now the T&I custodial bank accounts. This account this account may be interest-bearing. It does not have to earn interest, but it may. The account must only contain Ginnie Mae funds. It must have an 11720 form for each account in the master agreements. Just like the P&I accounts, the T&I account bank recon must be completed timely within 30 days of the issuer's cutoff. You must have separate escrow accounts for 203K funds with separate custodial accounts for any FHA, VA, RD, which is USDA, or PIH requirements. P&I temporary shortfalls may be caused by mortgager late payments or NSF checks from mortgagors and incorrect advance calculations, just to name a few. Here are a few non-recoverable corporate advance permanent shortfalls, including but not limited to adjustments, loan removals, and P&I shortfalls. The loan payoff shortfalls for FHA loans may be your difference in the liquidation interest paid by the borrower and the remaining interest due through the end of the month that needs to be funded to your P&I account. Any shortfalls for Ginnie Mae 1 pools are due to the custodial account prior to the 15th calendar day. For Ginnie Mae 2 pools, any shortfalls are due to the custodial account prior to the 19th or 20th calendar day, depending on the ACH draft for your Ginnie Mae 2 pools. Please turn on the annotation tool. Using the annotation tool, place a sticker on the method your company uses to fund P&I shortfalls if you know. Ryan, if we could get the annotation tool, please. Thank you. So companies can use corporate advances, which are issuer funds, excess funds, which are unscheduled recovery of principal on the pools, which can be found in MBS Guide Chapter 15-5, or the Pool Advance Agreement, which uses bank funds. Also, Appendix 6-1 must be completed. Wonderful. Look at all those stickers on corporate advances. That is awesome. Okay, I will now turn it over to Melanie.
Thank you, Christy. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so using the thumbs up, please let me know if you review your test of expected P&I. Good. Good, thank you for the thumbs. You may clear the thumbs. Okay, test of expected P&I provides the P&I account minimum dollar amount and all pool cash shortages funded by the issuer. Okay, it is required on every pool and performed monthly by the issuer. When performing test of expected P&I, you may not net pools that have cash overages with pools that have cash shortages. A best practice would be to fund your P&I account for any positive differences in one transaction, then withdraw funds from your P&I account for any negative differences in a separate transaction. For audit purposes, you should retain the pool level documentation for these debit and credit transactions. Okay, here is a test of expected P&I recon example. Most servicing systems will complete a similar test of expected P&I recon report like the one displayed here. Please note, the test of expected calculation is only accurate when your pool to security reconciliation is 0. Using the thumbs up, please let me know if you review your recon of mortgage collateral to securities outstanding, also called your pool to security recon. Good to see. Thank you for the participation. Okay, you can clear the thumbs. The pool to security recon is required on every pool and performed by the issuer or by your servicing system. If your pool is over collateralized, the adjusted pool principal balance is larger than the securities balance, and you need to recover unscheduled principal from liquidations or curtailments. There's a tolerance of up to $100 per pool if there are no unscheduled recoveries of principal. If the pool is under collateralized, this means the adjusted pool principal balance is less than the securities balance, and you will need to remit principal, most likely by a corporate advance. In this instance here, there is a tolerance of $1 per pool per loan with a maximum tolerance of $50 per pool. Okay, so here is a pool to security recon. Most servicing systems will complete a similar pool to security recon report like the one displayed here. Okay, here is a sample format of a P&I account recon. Most issuers build their P&I reconciliation in Excel. Your bank recons must be completed within 30 days of the issuer's monthly reporting cutoff date. The cash flow method is the balance at the end of the previous reporting month plus daily deposits minus disbursements. This total should equal the ending P&I cash book balance. The balance is reported in field 12 of the pool record and is also displayed at the bottom of the pool screen. Please note, all adjusting items on the recon must be resolved within one of the next 2 reporting cycles. If you have outstanding unreconciled items, it may result in an audit finding. Okay, T&I recon. Here's a sample of a T&I account recon. Like the P&I recon, most issuers build this form in Excel. So just like the P&I recon, the T&I bank account recon must be completed within 30 days of the issuer's monthly reporting cutoff date. T&I funds must be deposited in a Ginnie Mae escrow account within 2 business days or 48 hours of pool settlement. In field 29 of the loan record, the escrow balance for individual loans is reported. Field 11 of the pool record should reflect the total escrow of all loans within the pool. Again, please note, all adjusting items on the recon must be completely resolved within one of the next 2 reporting cycles. Okay, please use a thumbs up for yes or thumbs down for no to indicate if you would report a new loan with a T&I balance. So a thumbs up for yes if you would report a new loan with a T&I balance, and a thumbs down for no. Good. Thank you. Yes, most new loans will have a T&I balance, and this balance should be reported. Please clear the thumbs, and I will now turn it back over to Christy.
Thank you so much, Melanie. That was a lot of great information. So the large red box on the pool activity screen shows where all of the bank account balances are reported on the pool level. These balances can be reported on your RFS file or manually entered online. The Save and Summarize Pool button at the bottom of the screen in the red box needs to be clicked if any information on the screen is updated, or if any loan level fields are updated, as certain loan level information is moved over to the pool screen behind the scenes. Also, if you click the small plus sign in the bottom left-hand corner, the custodial bank information is displayed. This is where you would update the bank account numbers and the ABA numbers. Ensure that you click the Save and Sum button if you have made any updates on the screen. Please raise your hand if you use funds reported in these red boxes on the PAEF Exception Feedback Summary screen in your bank account recon. Wonderful. I'm seeing lots of hands. That is great. The T&I funds are a roll-up of all of the T&I balances, and the other funds is a roll-up of all of the P&I and other balances from the pool screens. If we could please clear the hands. Okay, and if we could post our next polling question, please. Okay, so what is the time limit to complete your bank account reconciliation? I know Melanie just mentioned this a few times in her section, and I talked about it in my section also. I'll give it a few more seconds. And if we could end the poll, please. So the correct answer is the 30 days from cutoff. So that would be all of the bank recons need to be completed within 30 days of the issuer's cutoff. Okay, if we could move on to our final polling question during the training. So when is an issuer required to submit CABs? So CABs is the custodial account verifications, which is one of the quarterly items that we talked about, where a lot of people have reminders set up to report that quarterly. And we will give it a few more seconds. And if we could end the poll, please. Okay, so the correct answer is when the FIC equals $100,000 or more. So this is a quarterly process, not a monthly. And it is when the FIC is $100,000 or more is when CABs is required. Okay, and if we could remove the question. Thank you. Actually, sorry, I went a little too quick there. Issuers are required to generate and maintain both the 11710A and 11710Es each month. They may generate a facsimile of the form as long as the form includes all of the required information. So Appendix 6-4 is for issuers' monthly accounting report. It provides general information such as the definition of a CD or IR pool, interest rate spread, and payment information. It describes every field requirement description and calculation of interest, gross and net, the service fee calculation, and the guarantee fee calculation, and instructions for completion of the liquidation form HUD 11710E. So we have now reached the end of our session. So I would like to open it up, and if anyone has any questions, you are welcome to unmute yourself and ask any questions or type them in the chat box. Okay, so Dorena is asking in the chat box, what would be reported as an other balance? That would depend on your servicing system. Most things are reported for your P&I balance within the P&I reporting field. So that would be a question for your service bureau to make sure to see where they have that information mapped from that may be reported into that field. That would be why I never see anything there. That is, yes, basically, Dorena, yes. Okay. How do we research T646 differences? What would we look for? Ruth, you're going to have to remind me what the T646 is. I believe that's a Black Knight report, but I'm not Sure. So what falls out on that report? The test of expected differences. Okay, so for your test of expected difference, now remember your test of expected is only accurate if your pull to security is 0. So you would need to make sure that your pull to security recon is 0. And then if you still have differences in your test of expected, that would just be the difference in the money actually in your bank account versus what is reported. So then you would need to actually fund or recover, depending on if it's a plus or minus, to get your bank account back in line. You are so very welcome, Ruth. So do we have any other questions from our attendees? And also I would like to ask if Steve, Melanie, and Debbie, if you guys have anything to add.
Christy, Karen Clyburn did have a comment there about buy down funds.
Oh gosh, thank you, Steve. I totally missed it. Okay, so Karen, what would be your question on buy down funds? Buy down funds are required to have their own bank account. So that would be listed in the other field. Actually, no, it is not listed in the other field. Yes, buy down funds are required to have their own bank account and 11720 form within MAMS. But whenever you balance that account, you are using your internal records and your bank statement. You are not using like your summary screen as part of your recon because the buy down funds are not reported anywhere in RFS. That's a great question. You are so welcome, Karen. Okay, and I would also like to open it up to see if any of the account executives have anything to add.
Nothing here. Thank you very, very much for everybody's participation, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Bill. Okay. All right. If we do not have any other questions, I will now turn it back over to either Crystal or Sean for our survey questions. Thank you, guys.